Cozy English Podcast.
Think confidently. Speak naturally.
Hey everyone, welcome to Cozy English Podcast.
We're really happy you're here today.
You know, Lucas, today's topic made me laugh a little when I was preparing for this episode.
Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. What happened?
Well, today's topic is being busy doesn't mean being productive. And the funny thing is, while I was preparing for this conversation, I kept getting distracted.
That's actually perfect.
I know. I opened my laptop to work on the podcast, then I checked one message, then another message, then somehow I ended up watching a video about a guy building a tiny house in the middle of a forest.
Wait, how did we get from productivity to a tiny house in a forest?
That's exactly my point. 1 minute I was working, the next minute I was learning absolutely useless facts about solar panels.
Honestly, I think every person listening right now knows that feeling. You sit down to do one important thing, and somehow your brain decides that now is the perfect time to do literally anything else.
Exactly. And then at the end of the day, you tell yourself, wow, I've been busy all day.
But then comes the dangerous question,
Oh no.
what did I actually finish today?
That's the question nobody wants to answer.
Because sometimes the answer is not much.
Not much at all.
And that's why I think today's topic is so important, because a lot of people believe that being busy automatically means they're making progress.
But that's not always true.
Not even close. In fact, some of my busiest days of my life were also some of my least productive days.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. I remember one day I answered emails, attended meetings, replied to messages, organized files, and checked my calendar about 20 times.
That sounds productive.
That's what I thought. But by the end of the day, the one important project I actually needed to finish was still unfinished.
Wow. I think that's something a lot of people can relate to.
And if you're listening right now and thinking, okay, that's me, don't worry, you're definitely not alone.
Because in today's conversation, we're going to talk about why being busy doesn't always mean being productive.
And how small changes can help you spend your time more intentionally.
And while we're talking, you'll also be improving your English naturally through real conversations.
But before we jump into all of that,
Maybe we should properly introduce ourselves.
yeah, that's probably a good idea, especially since this is our very first episode.
Imagine listening to two random people talking for 20 minutes and having no idea who they are.
That's true. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Nora.
And I'm Lucas.
And together, we're the hosts of Cozy English Podcast.
Honestly, it feels a little strange finally saying that out loud.
A little strange?
Okay, a lot strange. We've talked about starting this podcast for months.
That's true. Every time we talked about English learning, we kept coming back to the same idea.
Yeah, why does learning English feel so difficult for so many people?
Exactly. Because the funny thing is, most people don't actually struggle with learning English.
That's interesting. What do you mean?
Well, people learn vocabulary, they learn grammar, they watch lessons, they do exercises.
Right.
But then someone starts talking to them in English.
And suddenly everything disappears.
Exactly. Their brain just says, nope, not today.
I think every English learner has experienced that moment at least once.
At least once?
Okay, maybe 100 times.
Fair enough.
And that's one of the reasons we wanted to create this podcast.
Because we wanted English to feel more natural.
Less like studying.
And more like real life.
More like sitting with friends and listening to an interesting conversation.
Exactly. No pressure, no tests, no grades.
And definitely no homework.
That might be my favorite part.
Mine too.
But seriously, our goal is simple.
We want to help you improve your English through conversations that feel real.
Conversations about life,
Habits,
confidence,
mindset,
personal growth.
and all the little challenges that we all face.
So whether you're listening while driving,
Walking your dog,
making coffee,
or pretending to work while secretly listening to podcasts.
Lucas.
What? I'm sure somebody out there is doing exactly that right now.
Okay, you might be right.
The point is, wherever you are, we're happy you're here.
And we're excited to start this journey with you, one conversation at a time.
And speaking of conversations,
Let's get back to today's topic.
because I have a feeling a lot of people listening are about to recognize themselves in this discussion.
Especially if they've ever ended a busy day wondering, where did all my time go?
Exactly. This reminds me of something that happened to me recently.
Oh?
Yeah, I had one of those Saturdays where I woke up feeling incredibly motivated. You know the feeling?
The today I'm gonna get my whole life together feeling?
Exactly. I made coffee, cleaned my desk, opened my laptop. I even put on one of those productivity playlists.
Okay, wow, you were serious.
Very serious. For about 15 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Then I thought, before I start, let me quickly check my phone.
The famous last words.
Exactly. I checked one notification. That led to another notification. Then I saw a video. Then another video. Then somehow I was watching a guy restoring a 100-year-old pocket watch.
Why is it always something completely random?
I have no idea. But here's the scary part. It felt productive.
Really?
Yeah, because my brain was busy the whole time. I was learning things, watching things, reading things, jumping from one thing to another.
So you felt occupied.
Exactly. But when I looked at the clock, almost 2 hours had disappeared.
Ouch.
And the thing I originally wanted to do, I hadn't even started.
That's actually such a good example because nothing you did was necessarily bad.
Right. That's what makes it tricky. I wasn't wasting time on purpose. I wasn't being lazy. I was just constantly distracted.
And I think that's what happens to a lot of people. They don't lose time all at once.
They lose it a few minutes at a time.
One notification,
One message,
one video,
one quick check,
and suddenly an hour is gone.
or 2.
Or 3.
Let's not talk about 3.
You know, Lucas, your story reminds me of something that happened to me a few years ago.
Oh no. Should I prepare for a secondhand embarrassment?
Maybe just a little. So at the time, I was trying to become more organized. I had read productivity articles, watched videos, downloaded planning apps. I even bought a brand new notebook because apparently buying a notebook makes you feel productive.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing says new life like a fresh notebook.
Exactly. So one Monday morning, I sat down and made the most beautiful to-do list. Everything was organized, different colors, different categories, little check boxes. The whole thing looked amazing.
I can already tell where this story is going.
The funny thing is, I spent almost an hour making the list.
An hour?
An entire hour. And when I finally finished, I sat back and thought, wow, I'm productive.
Were you?
Not even a little.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Because then I looked at the clock and realized something. I had spent all my time preparing to work, but I hadn't actually started working.
Wow, that's such an important distinction.
Right. Planning can be useful, organization can be useful, but sometimes we spend so much time preparing that we never actually begin.
I think that's something many people struggle with, especially when they're learning English.
Exactly. People spend weeks searching for the perfect app, the perfect course, the perfect method, the perfect teacher.
Instead of just starting.
Exactly. And sometimes progress begins the moment you stop preparing and start doing.
Thoughtful. That reminds me of something.
What's that?
I once heard someone compare productivity to a treadmill.
A treadmill?
Yeah, think about it. When you're on a treadmill, you're moving constantly. Your legs are working, you're sweating, you're putting in effort.
But you're not actually going anywhere.
Exactly. And sometimes busyness feels like that. We're moving all day long, responding, reacting, checking, scrolling, switching between tasks.
But at the end of the day, we're standing in the same place.
That's why movement and progress aren't always the same thing.
I really like that image. Actually, I have another one.
Let's hear it.
Imagine you're trying to fill a bucket with water.
Okay.
You work hard. You carry water all day, you pour it into the bucket. But the bucket has tiny holes in it.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Every notification, every distraction, every unnecessary interruption, they're like tiny holes.
So no matter how much effort you put in,
The water keeps leaking out.
wow, that's actually a really powerful image.
And the worst part is that many people blame themselves.
That's true.
They think, I'm lazy, I'm not disciplined enough. Something is wrong with me.
When sometimes the real problem is simply too many distractions.
Exactly.
And honestly, I think modern life makes this harder than ever.
Definitely.
A message arrives, a notification appears, an email comes in, someone tags you in something, another video starts playing.
Our attention is constantly being pulled in different directions.
And attention is one of the most valuable things we have.
I completely agree, because where your attention goes,
Your time follows.
and where your time goes,
Your life follows.
that's worth thinking about for a moment.
Yeah, because most people think productivity is about doing more,
Working harder,
adding more tasks.
being busier.
But what if real productivity is actually the opposite?
What if it's about doing fewer things?
And focusing on the right things.
That's such an important question.
And the good news is you don't need to completely change your life to become more productive.
Sometimes a few small changes can make a huge difference.
You know, Nora, I think this is the point where some listeners might be thinking, okay, I understand the problem, but what do I actually do about it?
That's exactly what I would be thinking.
Right? Because it's one thing to realize you're busy, it's another thing to know how to become more productive.
And honestly, I think the first step is surprisingly simple.
What's that?
Stop trying to do everything.
That sounds almost too simple.
I know, but think about it. Most people start their day with a list of 10, 15, maybe even 20 tasks.
And then they wonder why they feel overwhelmed.
Exactly. A few years ago, I used to do that all the time. I'd write these huge lists, and every morning I'd feel ambitious.
And every evening?
I'd feel disappointed because no matter how much I finished, there were always 10 more things waiting.
I think that's a trap a lot of people fall into.
Definitely. Now I try something different.
What's your strategy?
Every morning, I ask myself one question. What is the most important thing I can finish today? Just one thing.
Interesting.
Because if I finish that one thing, the day already feels successful.
I really like that because it shifts your focus from quantity to quality.
Exactly. And here's something listeners should remember. Being productive isn't about doing more things. It's about doing the right things.
And that's actually a huge mindset shift.
It really is.
Because we're often rewarded for being busy.
That's true.
People say things like, I'm so busy, I barely have time, I've been working all day.
Almost like being busy is a badge of honor.
Exactly. But here's a question. If you're climbing a ladder,
Okay.
And after hours of climbing, you realize it's leaning against the wrong wall?
That's not good.
Not at all.
Because all that effort doesn't help if you're heading in the wrong direction.
Exactly. And that's why priorities matter.
Actually, that reminds me of another lesson I learned.
Let's hear it.
I used to think I needed motivation before I could start working.
Oh, wow, that's a big one.
Right? I kept waiting to feel motivated, waiting to feel inspired, waiting to feel ready.
And how did that work out?
Not very well.
I had a feeling.
Because motivation is unreliable. Some days it's there, some days it isn't.
That's so true.
What helped me was building small habits instead.
Can you give an example?
Sure, instead of telling myself, I'm going to work for 3 hours, I'd tell myself, I'm going to start for 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes?
Just 5, because starting is usually the hardest part.
I completely agree. Sometimes our brain turns a small task into a giant mountain.
Exactly. But once you begin, the task often feels easier than you expected.
That's actually something English learners can apply too.
Absolutely.
A lot of people tell themselves, I need to study English for 2 hours.
And then they never start.
Exactly. But maybe listening to one podcast episode,
Or learning one new phrase.
or speaking English for 5 minutes,
That's much easier.
and small actions repeated consistently create big results.
Which brings us to another important idea.
What's that?
Attention.
Yes, the thing everyone is fighting for these days.
Exactly. Companies want your attention. Apps want your attention. Notifications want your attention.
Videos, messages, emails, everything wants a piece of your attention.
And here's the scary part. Most people protect their money better than they protect their attention.
Wow, that's a powerful thought.
Think about it. If someone stole $10 from you every day,
You'd notice pretty quickly.
But when distractions steal 10 minutes here,
And 20 minutes there.
most of us don't even realize it's happening.
And suddenly an entire year has passed.
Exactly.
Which leads to a really important question.
What's that?
If attention shapes your days, and your days shape your life, where is your attention going right now?
That's a question worth sitting with for a moment.
Because changing your life doesn't always require dramatic action.
Sometimes it starts with noticing where your attention is being spent.
You know, Nora, one thing I really like about conversations like this is that we're not just talking about productivity, we're also learning useful English at the same time.
Exactly. And I think this is a good moment to look at a few words and expressions we've been using throughout today's conversation.
Let's start with a very important word, productive.
That's probably the star of today's episode.
Definitely. So when we say someone is productive, what do we actually mean?
Being productive means making progress towards something important, not just being busy, not just doing random tasks, but actually moving closer to a goal.
That's a really important distinction because someone can be busy all day and still not be productive.
Exactly. Here's an example. I spent 2 focused hours writing my report. That's productive.
But if I spend 2 hours switching between messages, videos, and notifications,
That might be busy, but it isn't necessarily productive.
another useful word from today's conversation is priority.
I love this word.
Me too. A priority is the thing that matters most, the thing that deserves your attention first.
For example, my priority this week is improving my English.
Or my priority today is finishing an important project.
And honestly, I think many productivity problems come from not knowing our priorities.
That's true. When everything feels important, nothing feels important.
Wow, that's a good sentence.
I wish I could say it was original.
Fair enough.
Another word we've used a lot today is distraction.
Ah, yes, our old enemy.
Exactly. A distraction is anything that pulls your attention away from what you're trying to do.
A notification,
A message,
social media,
that random video you're not supposed to be watching.
especially that one.
And here's a useful phrase, to get distracted. For example, I got distracted and forgot what I was doing.
Or I was studying English, but I got distracted by my phone.
I think we've all said that sentence before.
More times than we'd like to admit.
Definitely.
Now, here's another useful word. Intentional.
That's one of my favorite words.
Why?
Because intentional means doing something on purpose, making conscious choices, living with direction.
I like that. Living with direction.
For example, I'm trying to be more intentional with my time.
Or, I'm being more intentional about learning English every day.
And honestly, I think intentional might be one of the most important words from today's episode.
I agree, because being productive isn't about perfection. It's about making intentional choices.
You know, Lucas, something keeps coming back to my mind while we're talking.
What's that?
I think many people are harder on themselves than they need to be.
I agree.
If you're listening right now and you've struggled with productivity or time management or distractions,
You're not alone.
not even close.
These are challenges that almost everyone faces.
And social media often makes us feel like everyone else has everything figured out.
When in reality, most people are still learning, still improving, still making mistakes.
Including us.
Definitely including us.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, really?
Okay, definitely including me.
That's what I thought.
You know, if listeners remember only one thing from today's conversation, I hope it's this.
What is it?
Being busy doesn't automatically mean you're making progress.
That's such an important lesson.
Because life isn't a competition to see who can stay busy the longest.
It's about spending your time on things that truly matter.
And sometimes that means slowing down.
Sometimes it means saying no.
Sometimes it means focusing on one thing instead of 10.
And sometimes it means putting your phone in another room.
That's probably the hardest one.
It really is.
Before we finish today's episode, let's do a quick recap.
Good idea. Today we talked about the difference between being busy and being productive.
We shared stories about distractions,
We talked about priorities,
attention,
intentional living.
and small habits that create real progress.
Most importantly, we learned that productivity isn't about doing more.
It's about doing what matters.
And if you're listening to this while improving your English,
You're already making progress.
one conversation at a time.
And if you're enjoying Cozy English Podcast, don't forget to subscribe and join us for future conversations.
We'll be talking about confidence, habits, communication, mindset, self-improvement, and many other topics that can help you improve both your English and your daily life.
And if you found today's episode helpful, consider sharing it with a friend who's always busy.
But maybe not always productive.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us.
We truly appreciate it.
Until next time,
Keep learning.
keep growing.
Think confidently.
Speak naturally.
And we'll see you in the next episode of Cozy English Podcast.